Hello and welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be taking a look at the recently released Hot Toys Darth Vader. This one's from the Obi-Wan Kenobi show specifically. At the moment we do have a few Vaders that you can choose from previous films, and a couple of figures that haven't released yet, so like the Return of the Jedi one, but this one's the Kenobi one and it's looking very good. The head sculpt in the damaged helmet, I think, turned out brilliant. This is definitely something, or a selling point for this figure in particular, as well as obviously the battle damaged chest piece and the saber looking good here, but obviously it won't look like that. It will just be their standard USB type sabers. So yeah, the head sculpt is looking fantastic, but in my opinion, the cape is what's letting this release down. So you can see it's a bit heavy and doesn't drape particularly well, and that's because it's reversible, so one side has that gash for the battle damage look and the other side is clean. So Hot Toys went with the route of giving you one cape that you can flip over, which means it's basically the outside is both sides. That means it's thicker than it needs to be, really, and that means it's just not draping particularly well, and it's also a bit too short, so it should come down to past the inner robe. Previous Vaders, I'm just checking my Rogue One, that's definitely got it correct, but this one is a little short and it looks like it's going to be quite difficult to work with. So I mean, this head sculpt is fantastic. The likeness to Hayden Christensen is definitely there, and this is what I mean. You can see it's just not draping. It's not forming the nice silhouette as the previous Vaders. And I also think it's a different material. This material looks a lot rougher, and as well as the inner robe, actually, they look different materials to the previous materials they've used for Vaders. Obviously, you have to wait and see in person. But I don't know. I have this on pre-order, but I also have the Rogue One version. I'm tempted to not keep this one and basically buy the head sculpt separately, cancel my pre-order, buy the head sculpt separately, so I effectively have the Rogue One Vader that I can interchange to this one. I still think that for the clean look, the Rogue One Vader is superior. Obviously you get the double lightsabers, which you don't have with Rogue One, but you can see with the Rogue One, everything flows really well. So the cape is very plush, the inner material is very plush, and it drapes how you'd expect. So you can form it around the body however you'd like. You can throw it over the shoulders, or you can wrap it around the front for the sort of the classic Vader standing look. And this just to me isn't quite working in the same way. Now, if this is the only Vader you want, I still think that, you're getting a lot for your money in terms of if you get the deluxe, you can switch out the pieces, create two different looks, and you can always try and buy a cape separately from any of the past Vaders. They're all basically the same cape. So any of the previous Vaders, you've got the Empire Vaders, the New Hope Vaders, the Rogue One Vader. So the only thing you'd really be missing on is the helmet and the box. The battle damage one doesn't make or break it for me, but I can imagine this helmet is going to be expensive. Maybe once the hype has died down, because people are going insane at the minute for this figure, the helmet might be a bit cheaper. I mean, I'm still imagining it's going to be 100 quid, maybe more. This is a good picture. This makes me want it. But yeah, I don't know. See, here, this is not a nicely draped cape. Um, it doesn't help that the collar's not under the helmet, but yeah, it's just not how it really should be. I mean, that is not good. It doesn't form very well, and as I say, I think this is a different material. I think they've used something else to what they used to, which was really, it was heavy, but it was also quite soft and plush. So if you, I mean, I still think you're getting a great figure, but I'd be looking to replace the cape and possibly the robe. So, I mean, if you have this on order, I still think it's a fantastic piece. You probably won't be disappointed. That head sculpt looks great. But for me, I think I'm going to be branded crazy probably, and say I think I'm just going to keep the Rogue One version and see if I can get some of the parts for this one. So you also have, for example, the Return of the Jedi Vader. This cape, again, I mean, it looked a bit cumbersome here because the arms are out, but it drapes really well. You can see it's slightly different, as well as the inner robe. Different material, what they used to use, at least in the prototype. It might change by the time the figure's released. But you can see as well, it's definitely, I don't want that. It's a lot thinner. It reminds me a lot of this cape, the one that nobody likes with the Batman Begins figure. You can see it just doesn't work with you. You have to, it's thick, but not in a good way, and it doesn't actually bend or contort in the way you'd expect it to. It just kind of sits there and you're left to the cape's own devices. But yeah, that's the figure overall. It's still looking very, very good. I'm intrigued to see the in-hand reviews for this, mainly for that cape, but the head sculpt is looking fantastic, and overall this is definitely a solid release. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you next time.